This is a story about Aurora, who was frustrated by her husband's uninterested attitude. As a result, she decides that some changes are necessary and plans to use Valentine's Day as an opportunity to get back on good terms with her husband. On Valentine's Day, an unexpected person visits the cake shop where Aurora works. It was her husband, who turned pale when he saw Aurora, and his affair partner, who was smiling and choosing a cake without noticing anything. Aurora serves both of them with a big smile and hands the cake to her husband and the woman. What will Aurora's reaction be to her husband, who is sitting on his knees waiting for her at home? Let's see to find out. My husband came to the cake shop where I work on Valentine's Day with his affair partner. I recommended a chocolate cake to my pale-faced husband. We've been married for 5 years, but I feel like our marriage is deteriorating fast. We don't have any big fights, but it seems like my husband is no longer interested in me. I didn't expect this kind of relationship after only 5 years, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to get along, just the two of us. We got married 2 years after we started dating, so it's not like we were together for a long time. It's true that after 7 years together, you get used to a lot of things and become less reserved. But still, there's a big difference between being together because you like each other and when you don't show any interest in the other person. I have feelings for my husband, and I don't regret having married him, but I'm beginning to think that his attitude lately is a bit too harsh. Even when we have a conversation, I often feel like he is not listening and doesn't seem to be interested in what I'm thinking at all. In fact, when I want him to listen to me, he even acts bothersome. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about myself all the time. I listen to my husband complain about his work, and I leave him alone when he seems tired. That's why I'm kind of frustrated that he doesn't listen to me at all. So I said to my husband, "You've been kind of cold lately, haven't you? You're listening to me like me talking is a bother."
"I don't think it's bothersome, but it's bothersome that you ask me like that."
"Well, you are cold after all."
"I don't think so. I'm always listening to what you have to say."
"I'm not sure what you mean by that, but it's obvious you're not listening. When you reply, it's blunt, or worse, you just ignore me."
"That's only when I'm tired or doing something else."
"It's usually when you're playing some game on your phone."
"Whatever it is, I'm listening to you. See, we're having a conversation right now."
"Yeah, but..." It had the opposite effect on me, so after this little fight, we never talked about it. In fact, we don't talk much anymore. I guess I'll have to do something about that. One thing I'm thinking about right now is that I'm going to make a fresh start this Valentine's Day. I know it sounds a bit childish, but it's been a while since I've done anything for Valentine's Day. My husband forgets to give me anything, so I've gradually stopped giving it to him. But this year, I'm thinking of giving a gift that doesn't ask for anything in return as a token of my gratitude. I don't like the idea of things being awkward like this, so I thought I'd try to be a little more forthcoming. Well, I don't know if I'll get the response I'm hoping for, but I thought it might be stimulating to take some action once in a while. I don't know if I'll succeed, but... Aurora seems to be trying to change the situation in a positive way. Seeing Aurora's positive attitude, I honestly felt like cheering her on. And so Valentine's Day came by. Valentine's Day. On that day, I was working at a cake shop at the request of a friend. It seems that cakes sell surprisingly well on Valentine's Day, and they were short on staff or something. So I was put in charge of the cash register because I could do nothing but sell cakes. Then an unexpected person came into the store. It was my husband, and a woman I didn't know. I knew right away that he was cheating on me, because they walked in arm in arm, looking like they were more than friends. My husband is an only child, and I was told that he has no female cousins, so I was certain that he was having an affair. He didn't seem to notice at first, but the moment he laid eyes on me, he stiffened.
"Why are you here?"
I think it came out of his mouth before he could even think about it. The woman next to him was so surprised to see him like that. "Do you know her?" But I just looked at her like I didn't know what she was talking about. "I think you've got the wrong person. So what kind of cake are you looking for?" My husband looked pale, but the woman didn't notice. Do you have any recommendations? I want to give him a cake for Valentine's Day. She asked me with a big smile on her face. To that, I gave her a big smile and replied, Then I recommend this chocolate cake. The woman's eyes lit up with delight. That looks delicious! Then I'll have 2 of these, please. Yes, ma'am. I continued to smile, pretended not to notice my husband's confusion, and quickly settled the bill and had him leave the store. Of course, after they both walked out of the store, I instantly went back to a straight face. I didn't talk about it to anyone after that, and I finished the work I had left to do and went home. When I went to the living room, my husband had already returned, and for some reason, he was sitting on his knees waiting for me. I ignored him and talked to him as if nothing happened. Working in a cake shop is pretty fun. I even got a souvenir.
That's great.
My husband was puzzled by my strangely cheerful tone and was watching how I was going to go about the conversation. But I didn't mention anything on what he was expecting. It wasn't because I wasn't scared. It was just that I had thought through the whole thing and decided that this was the best move. How was the chocolate cake I recommended to you? You already ate it, didn't you?
Yes, I ate it. It was delicious.
Right? I got to taste it too, and it was delicious. I guess he thought it was weird that I was smiling all the time, that this time he started talking to me.
You know, about what happened today...
Then I finally decided to address the main issue. Oh, about today. Your affair partner is beautiful. Well, for what she did, she's an a-hole, though. So this means we're getting a divorce now, right? I'll be requesting alimony, so please make sure to tell that woman, too. My husband just stared at me, growing more pale. I never said this to test my husband. I decided to divorce him the moment I found out that he had been cheating on me. The fact that I had been trying so hard to strengthen our bond as a married couple made me feel like an idiot. I just wanted to get a divorce. Of course I was hurt, and I really wanted to start crying. But I didn't want to show my weakness to such a lousy person. So I kept a smile on my face the whole time. I wanted to show him that I could leave him at any time. But he had no way of knowing what I was really thinking, so he was very confused.
No, wait a minute. Isn't it too early to talk about divorce? I'm sorry I cheated on you. I'm deeply sorry about that. That's why I left her. I care about you. And only you, Aurora. He said something cheap like that. You don't have to apologize. It's my fault for not realizing that you're the kind of person who would cheat on me. It's interesting that you talked about your breakup while eating such delicious chocolate cake. Whatever you two do from now on, do as you please. I'll make sure you get alimony, and I won't call off the divorce. When I told him this, he stood up and tried to persuade me. I told you I don't want a divorce. I don't want to end things here with you, Aurora. I've left her for good. I'll answer any questions you want to ask, so please, forgive me.
Seeing my husband like that, I felt my love for him waning more and more. For good? Once you cheat on your wife, you've completely lost my trust.
I understand that, but...
I don't care if you end it or not. I don't have any questions I want to ask you. I don't want to get hurt even more. So do you agree to the divorce? I'm going home to my parents tomorrow. When I said this, my husband put his forehead to the floor.
Aurora, please. Please forgive me. I will never betray you again. I really, truly promise.
I was so disgusted, so I said something harsh to him. When you're married to someone and you betray them even once, isn't that the end? Promises are easy to say, but impossible to believe in this situation, right? I won't trust you even if you do that, and I'm not ready to forgive you either, so don't waste your time. As long as you divorce me and give me alimony, that's all that matters.
Please don't say that. It's all my fault. I'm sorry. So, please.
Yeah, it's obviously all your fault and you should be sorry. But I don't trust your words even if you say you're sorry, so I'm asking you to show it by divorcing me and paying me alimony. Do you understand? My husband started crying when I said all this. How is it possible for the one who cheated on his wife to cry? The feelings I felt when I saw my husband crying in front of me, I truly couldn't understand why he was crying. How can you play the victim after cheating on your wife?
Could you at least listen to me for a second?
He even said that to me in tears. Why should I listen to someone who cheated on me? I was frustrated, and my will to divorce became even stronger. It's ironic that he used to be so uninterested in what I had to say, but now the tables have turned. Maybe I was protecting myself from further damage by deciding to divorce him so easily. But now, I have no regrets about requesting the divorce. In fact, I'm glad I did it right away. After seeing my husband like that, I had no intention of being with him anymore. That's why I no longer listened to his words and stayed in my room. I didn't seem to listen at all, so he must have realized that he wouldn't be able to talk to me that day, and no longer pestered me that day. The next day, I left the house while my husband was at work. I came back to my parents' house, but the divorce wasn't finalized yet. My parents were surprised to hear my story. They said my husband didn't seem like the kind of person who would have an affair. I married him because I thought he wouldn't do such a thing. I got a message from my husband, probably after finishing his work.
Did you really go home to your parents' place? I'll be there on my next day off so we can talk again then.
I never responded to any of his messages since we had nothing to talk about. The husband is trying his best to show remorse, but Aurora's will to divorce seems to be firm. I guess his fate was sealed when he cheated on her. I wonder if she and her husband will ever be able to come to an agreement. A few days later, my husband came to my parents' house with a straight look on his face, like he had a strong will. It was like it showed that he was determined to go home with me. Well, I shattered that idea early on. My parents, being considerate, went out, so I sat down with my husband again, face to face.
Aurora, I'm so sorry.
I handed him the divorce papers at the same time he bowed his head. Thank God you're here. Can you fill this out for me? I held out a pen, and sure enough, he froze.
What? No, I came here today to discuss...
And I told you I have nothing to say. That's why I didn't reply. I just got the divorce papers yesterday, so I'm glad you came by today. It saves me the trouble of mailing them, so just go ahead and write them down. When I rushed him, he looked very sad.
Aurora, do you really want a divorce? We've been together for 7 years. I only want to be with you, and only you from now on. That's why we got married, and I don't want this to be the end.
That's what he said, so I gave him another good argument. You can think that you want to be with me all you want, but I'm the one who decides that, okay? I'm not going to let the person who cheated on me do what he wants. Am I? And by the way, I'm never going to say yes. I'm not going to change my mind about the divorce. If you won't sign it now, will you leave? I was so calm that he panicked.
What's wrong, Aurora? You weren't so cold before. You used to listen to me all the time. So why don't you listen to me when we have something important to talk about?
He asked me something so obvious. I've only ever wanted to listen to you because I liked you. How could I possibly want to listen to you when you cheated on me and betrayed me? I have every right to be angry at you for what you did. And if you thought you could be nice to me after I found out about your affair, how stupid do you think I am?
I'm not saying that you're stupid. I just want you to know how sorry I am.
As I told you before I left, nothing you say in words means anything to me. I told you that I want you to show me how sorry you are in a visible way, right? Or were you not listening to me again?
I was listening, but I don't want a divorce.
If you don't want a divorce so badly, why did you cheat on me? Do you think I would forgive you? I don't want to be betrayed and cry myself to sleep. I'd rather leave than be with someone I can trust. If you say you're truly sorry, shouldn't you respect my wishes?
That's true, but...
I really have nothing more to say to you. I can only say the same thing, and it's a waste of time. Do you want to sign now and talk about the division of property and alimony, or do you want to just leave without showing any remorse? I pushed him into a corner, and he finally relented.
Okay. If you insist, I'll agree to divorce.
He nodded and looked as if he had given up on everything. I was relieved that it worked out, and I was able to get him to sign the divorce papers. Then, we had a thorough discussion about the division of property and alimony. After all that was said and done,
I'll divorce you and pay you alimony, but I don't want this to be over. Please don't tell me you'll never see me again. I want you to give me one more chance. I'll definitely make you like me again.
My husband was still saying such things after all that talk. Will you stop being so smug? I'm not the kind of woman who would ever choose a lousy man like you again. Thanks for signing the papers. Now get out. I shushed him up like that. It was like a weight was put off my shoulders. I'd gotten my revenge for being cheated on. The other woman is going to be contacted about the alimony. Well, I'll leave that to my lawyer. I'm just glad to be free from all my worries. I'll never forget this Valentine's Day. I'm sure it was very bitter for my husband as it was for me. I hope he remembers me every year from now on and regrets it for the rest of his life. I already have no regrets, and I don't think I'll ever regret our divorce. I'm just relieved that it all came to an end so early. The longer it dragged on, the deeper my wounds would have become. Thank you for listening to the end.